happy times we had.
Well, why don't you come on over to the club and join me? Join me. Join me.
I was expecting it. Expecting it.
Kablam, shablam, shablam, kashblamo. Welcome, friendos. And how do you do this day, my little cutie patooties?
Mayo, oh mayo.
Oh, let's
Condiment
not.
that never
Come on,
delays.
let's not.
It's creamy, rich, and white, and brings every sandwich to light. Spread it on your bread so
Yeah.
fine. Add some lettuce or a brine, tomatoes, pickles, or cheese. Mayo does as it please.
Yeah, okay. That's cool. I mean, look, it's a new day, okay? It's a new day, and let's not smear it with mayonnaise, okay? We've got two wonderful guests, okay? Let's not talk about yesterday. Let's talk about today. All right? Okay, Wiz? Get out of here, Wiz. I'm sick of seeing your gorgeous face. Man, Wiz, I was trying to heal. I know, right, Mandy? Let's forgive and forget. Let's move on. Let's focus on what's important. It's our friendos, okay? but Wiz still does the intro, right? Wiz, do you want to do the intro today? We're not gonna preamble for too long. We got amazing guests waiting in the wings, and I don't want to delay them. Hello, Confused Echidna. Hello, Mr. Cozy Preamble Cowboy. It is lovely to see you. Your cute, cozy face. I hope you're going well today, cutie. And your chat is super heckin' amazing and delightful and lovely and wonderful and mega heckin' cute. You hear that, chat? It's for you. I'll be civil because we have guests, but we don't forget. What on earth happened yesterday? Mr. Johnny Yong, what are you doing? Are you just watching the stream right now? I hope they can breathe in there. I have to. What the heck? Hi, cuties. Hey, yeah, you're jumping the gun. You're supposed to. I haven't done your intros yet. I'm watching the stream. What else am I supposed to do back here in your broom closet? Oh, that's not the broom closet. Look around, Johnny Yong. Do you see a broom? Huh? Tell me this. Do you see a broom? Yeah, what do you see, Johnny Yong? There's lots of sharp, long objects. That's right, you're in the toilet. And Joe's got the green room.
Unbelievable.
CY, thank you for the prime. 29 months. Let's go. True, no broom heads. No broom heads? Hey, yelling at clouds. That is a great name. That is a great name. What do you keep in your toilet? Poops? All right. Look, the guests are
Hi,
clearly...
CBC.
Yeah,
Welcome
hi.
to my stream.
Okay.
You're the guest today on my stream.
Thanks.
My stream. My stream.
Whose stream is
my
it?
Stream,
Whose stream is
my
it? Whose stream is it?
My
Whose stream is it?
My
Whose stream is it? Whose stream is it? Cool. Wiz, do you want to do the intro? We're gonna start. We're gonna start. I'm ready to start. Are you ready to start? I don't... They're getting antsy. They're getting antsy. They're typing in chat. Does anyone else keep spare horses in their toilet? What? Now, chat, I wanna prep you. I wanna prep you.
I'm so keen to do the intro, I could release my bowels at any moment.
Okay, let's just do the intro then. I'm not prepping anyone for anything. Before you... Me in the pod room. Me in the pod room, says Joe. Okay. Okay, Joe. You've forgotten how to talk. That's fine. You know, there's a lot of pressure when you come on a CBC stream. It's pretty intimidating. I get it. The audience seems feral. Get him on board with you, Johnny Yong. Get him on board with you. Don't follow his lead, Joe. That'd be my advice. Will it pod? I guess we'll find out. This is going to be a lot of fun. All right, I'll say that right now. Wiz, you can do the intro. Let's get to it. I don't want to faff around any longer.
My stream,
Too
my
early!
stream, my
Whatever.
stream, my stream,
Too
my
early.
stream, my stream.
You're terrible at this, Wiz. I'm not resetting. I'm not resetting. There's guests waiting. The stakes are high. We're gonna have to redo the intro later. You know what? Taking away your doing intro privileges, Wiz. I'm doing the intro. I'm doing it. You can't. You don't get to anymore. Well, this is just me, Cowboy. Everyone stream today. I hope you should have the best time ever.
Shazam. It's the intro. The intro is so good. Look at all this intro says. I am the Wiz, and tonight we have so many introductions going on. Tonight we have the super talented and amazing Johnny Yong. We have the super talented and amazing Joe. And the super talented and amazing me. And Kid Cardboard is here.
Hey, Wiz, you're stealing my bits. You're stealing my bits. Look. Hi, everyone. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Are you ready for it to pod? Chat, are you ready? Chat, are you ready? Johnny Yong, Joe, you want to type in chat? Let me know if you're ready. I feel less anxiety this stream. I can bring it back so easily, though. I can bring back your anxiety so very quickly and so very easily. Actually, I don't know where it's gone. Born ready, ready, says Joe. I think they're ready, chat. Let's get to it. It's time for...
Do you do that manually every time?
Hey! Wait your turn.
Oh, sorry.
Such unprofessional guests. Okay. Welcome to the podcast, everybody. On today's pod, okay, we have two wonderful, special, very wonderful special guests. And Johnny Ong's here too. Our first guest this evening has style, has grace, has a gorgeous little face. Mandy, thank you for the sub. Straight out of Sydney, I'm glad he's here with me. Oh, that's good stuff. Hopefully he'll bless us with a song. It's Mr. Johnny Ong.
The whiplash I just got, I was like, oh. Okay. Hanging on to the end there.
Welcome to the pod. Welcome to
Thank
the pod.
you very much.
Yeah, did you
Nice
like
to be here.
What do you think of the intro? What do you think?
Well, I was just still recovering from the will it paw, and
Yeah, answer my question.
I loved it. Thank you very much. It was way better than I expected.
You're welcome. Me too. Okay, our next guest hails all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. Crazy. Between streaming, she also teaches and plays gigs for bands and even records albums. First in many instruments, including the washboard. Let the show begin. It's Joe Plays Violin. Woo!
Oh my goodness, so nice to be here.
Welcome to the pod. The table got a little larger to accommodate our guests. I'm sorry about the smell of the whiz. I want to apologize for that straight away.
That's why you moved Joe over there. I see, yeah. I've noticed.
I thought a bit of distance between me and the whiz was a good idea, and also, well, Johnny Young, I'm sorry, you know what I'm trying to say.
I'm just
Hi,
looking for my
Jonathan
peg.
Ong and Jen Plays Violin. Thank you for coming to be a guest on my stream. My
Hey,
stream,
you
my
got
stream,
Wiz.
my stream, my stream.
Jen plays violin? Worst guy.
Yeah, who's that?
Yeah, who the hell is
I don't
that?
know who she is. I don't
Jeez,
know that.
Wiz. That's how you treat our guests. This is why you'll never amount to anything, Wiz. Okay? Jeez. All right, Wiz, do you want to ask the first question tonight? You want to ask the first question? Oh, just so you know, chat, it's usually a goof and a gaff. Today we're doing a proper pod. It's proper pod. Joe and John, the pod. We are going to pod today. Hip hip hooray. Who's that over there? Don't ask about him. It's pod. Hey, I like it when you dance like that. That was good stuff. There are a couple of subs I missed. Lyrillin, thank you for the 7 months. Manny, thank you for the tier 3. Ludwig van Beethoven completed a total of 32 numbered piano sonatas. The most famous being number 14, the Moonlight Sonata. I'd like to dedicate this resub to our guest, Johnny Ong. Oh, there you go, Johnny Ong.
Thank you.
Do you want to cut of that? You want to cut of that tier 3?
No, it's okay. You deserve it.
Oh, thanks, because I wasn't going to give it to you anyway.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
That's
isn't
good.
that nice? Anyone dedicating subs to Joe? What is this? Welcome, lovely guest, says Lyrillin. Thanks for 7 months. Oh, and Rob Anchor Lagoon with a Prime sub. Back for 7 months. Woo! Good morning, Serial. Okay. Now, I do have a question for you both. Maybe the Wiz wants to ask, though. John is usually asleep right now. Well, he looks a little asleep, doesn't he?
I got my grape juice energy drink. It's called My Fuel. I'm not sponsored. I bought it. So it's gonna work. It's gonna work. My eyes will get ever so slightly larger.
Hashtag ad. Yeah, all right. Checks in the mail, I suppose. He's 100%
It's pretty
sponsored.
amazing how talented and amazing this podcast is. Joe plays the violin.
That's
Johnny is amazing at the piano.
That's right.
I can play the trumpet.
You can.
So tell me, what was the hardest songs you learned?
What are the hardest songs you learned, you two?
You
Oh, we made the
first,
same face.
please. You first.
That's the musician's face.
It depends. Is it one I learned on a time limit, or is it the one the hardest one just in general?
Okay, well,
I can make it quick.
I would say that if there's a time limit factor there, then you put that you slot that into it's more difficult because you have to learn it quicker, right? So
Yeah.
But does that mean it's more difficult? Does time make it harder?
Well, I'll tell you the quick story. It's called it's Islame by a Russian composer called Balakirev, and don't ask me to play it on my stream ever, because I don't know how to play it anymore, and I only
Okay, so
barely knew how to
I'll
play
stop you there because the question was, what is the hardest song you've ever learned? And you haven't learned this. You don't know it. Like, what are you,
No,
what
no,
are you
the thing
saying?
The thing about classical music is that you have to learn about a couple of tens of thousands of notes, and then you're supposed to practice it so it stays there.
Right.
And I haven't practiced it for 15 years or something like that, so it's not there anymore. That's all.
Dang.
It's a bit like, if you don't breathe for long enough, you forget how to permanently.
You do? That's not good to hear.
Oh no.
Oh, I remembered. Phew. Okay, Joe, what's the hardest song you ever learned that you actually learned instead of just forgot straight away?
I feel like the hardest song I ever learned, for me, if I want to learn a song, it makes it easier. So a song I don't want to learn is gonna be a harder one.
Ah, I
And the most
see.
and the most recent was I got hired for a gig where I needed to play a song every Nashville violinist has to play. Do you want to guess? What does every Nashville player have to play?
Oh, Nashville.
Is it that one by Bruno Mars? That's cool. That's a masterpiece. Giving it up in the city. Looks that's so pretty. Is that it? Did I get it right? Points to me?
Mm,
Oh, was it close?
no, not close at all. It still went down to Georgia.
Oh, how's that one go? Do I know that one? Do you know it, Johnny On?
Yeah. And then yeah. I imagine it's quite tricky though.
Do you have a piano under
You
there?
know, it's
I
not
always
that
keep it in my
bad.
pocket.
Oh, so you're just like in your pockets going like this, playing the piano?
Yeah.
Joe,
And
your
then you just
head!
whip it out.
Oh no, your head!
Oh my God, oh my
Okay,
God,
you're
I'm
fine.
so-
You're fine. Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Jeez. But yeah, that one taxed me dearly learning that song. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy playing it. The gig I played at was a disaster. I showed up and they were like, okay, so show us like your wireless mic pack. And I was like, I don't have one. They're like, well, how are you going to play on the bar then? And I was like, no one told me I'm playing on top of the bar. And they're like, oh, yes, you need to play on top of this bar. So that was the evening.
I've spent some time on the top of a bar, but never have I had to perform on top of one. Was it dangerous? It sounds like. Is it like? Could you fall off the bar?
Well, I asked for one of the security people to be nearby just in case, and they were like, absolutely. And then I started, not anywhere in sight, just like a ton of drunk people around me. And, there's beer on the bar top as well. So high risk territory, but I played the damn song and I got that check.
Nice. CBC
Would you do
used
it
to work
again?
at Coyote Ugly Bar. Hey, don't tell him about my past. What'd you say, Johnny Young?
Oh, I was just asking if she would do it again.
Yeah, would you do it again?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, good call. Good call. Sounds
Yeah.
like it was horrendous.
Mhm.
All right.
No, there's a lot of worse details involved, but we got lots to talk about here. So.
We do. We got so much to talk about. And the Wiz,
Yeah.
great opening question. Not exactly the way I thought it would go, but yeah, good job, Wiz. Good job.
I like that.
All right, I wanted to ask. I got a question straight off the bat. All right.
I am a professional.
Keep telling yourself that, bud. Which this is going to set the tone. Which is the best instrument, and why is it the cowbell? Joe, I'll let you go.
I think you mispronounced violin.
No, I said cow. Wait, how do you say it?
The violin. Violin.
It's
Yeah.
I don't.
It's goes up here. It's like that.
Yeah, almost looks right, like the right action, but it's
No, that's
there.
no,
That's it. That's it. You're doing it.
No. That's you're taking this out of context.
Huh?
That's not right.
What? Johnny Young, you want to answer?
Look, you can only really appreciate an activity to the degree which you are truly versed in the activity, and you're really well versed at banging on a metal object. So of course you're going to think it's the best instrument.
It is the best instrument.
Yeah, but you can't play anything else. I've seen how you play a piano. You shoot it.
The question
That's
is,
not playing
the
the
question
piano.
is, why is it the best instrument?
I just told you. It's because it's all you understand.
I don't understand.
Oh,
Okay,
it's getting heated up
Great.
in here.
you. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Here's another question. No, it's earnest. I'm trying to do earnest, but the instinct to do a joke is overwhelming. Okay, how did you? Let's start with Joe. How did you originally get into music? What made you start playing music?
Please don't
I mean,
curse
I
at the
always
guests.
loved.
That's production's telling me not to swear at you. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
oh,
production.
fine.
Okay, Joe. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you originally get into music?
You know, it sounds cheesy, but sincerely, when I was little, I was playing video games, and there was a couple levels where I would save on that particular level, so I could go back and listen to the music again. And I just love doing that for all my Final Fantasy games. I first got into music with singing, but with the violin, that's a cute thing, kind of like on
You guys
my
are cool,
mom's
but
side of the
step aside, please, for I am the greatest guest this stream has ever had. The amazing,
So
wonderful,
sorry.
beautiful, super mega cute
I'm
Wiz.
so sorry. I was just trying to get an earnest response out of you and this
Oh,
and this dickhead. All right, that is actually so fascinating to me, Joe. That video games were actually got you into music.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
No. Does anyone know the Muffin Man? You know the Muffin Man?
The guy I buy muffins from?
Yeah. What's his name again?
I think it's Jack.
You do know him. Jack the
I bought a lot of
Muffin Man. That's good to know. Yeah, I find that super fascinating. Johnny Young, how did you get into music? I mean, wait, let me just add to that, Joe, and say that like it makes sense that you're a streamer if video games were one of the avenues in which you made your way into performing music. That's that tracks, you know?
Yeah, like it really felt like kind of a magical place where some of my favorite things just happen to align, and here we are.
What games out of interest? What game were you games were doing that to you?
The first one was Final Fantasy IX, and it was Frontier Village Dolly. It's just like this cute home theme, and it's like a calm in the game, and there's a little cat in the scene, and I like those. And I was like, this is nice.
Yeah, I like
That's
cats
the
too.
first
They're
one.
they're cool. Cats are cool.
Mhm.
Cats are cool.
And probably Banjo-Kazooie as well. Click Clock Wood.
Oh, I love Banjo
Click
Kazooie.
Clock Wood is so good. But yeah, those were the first two.
Yeah, nice. And Johnny Young,
Yeah.
what got you into the old tinkling on the
Oh.
old ivories?
I was the middle child. I still am the middle child. They're all alive, which is nice. And they basically, my sister had started, and she was playing all this music. And you know, when you have a piano in the house, it's just economies of scale. It's just, you know, better if all the kids play it. But apparently, by all accounts, I actually went to it voluntarily, like some kind of nut job, and was just banging on it forever. So eventually, they let me have formal music lessons, and I just liked it. I think I just liked it. And then by the time I realized that sometimes it got really unpleasant with the amount of practice you had to do. It was too late because it had become kind of a thing. Like it was like a thing. It just never occurred to me that I could stop, and it still hasn't. I'm still here.
You can stop, Johnny Young. You can, but I would encourage you not to stop, if that's
Oh,
okay.
thank you.
Yeah.
You shouldn't ever tell me that I can. No, I can't stop. Actually, it's not possible.
Stop saying that. Yeah. What would you do if you couldn't play piano?
I thought about like buying a truck and hiring myself to remove construction waste from building sites.
That's a pivot.
It's a
that's
service in demand.
That's a huge pivot.
Wait, John does music. I thought he just slapped Badjo and insulted him. I thought that was his thing.
That was under contract for Bajo. He likes it. He said something about my hands being extra soft, so it's basically a massage.
Really?
Mm.
And is that in any way, the fact that you have the most beautiful, delicate, soft hands, is that in any way related to wanting to remove waste from construction sites?
Oh,
You want to correct?
no, that's just because I'm thinking about what's really required by society, Getting rid of garbage. I think that's actually very useful. But I don't think the delicate hands is correct, because if you look at the palm to finger ratio, the amount of meat on this thing, when you slap something, we can get a lot of force behind that. I think Bajo
It's
just
really
has a pain
nice
king.
to meet you. Jonathan plays violin and Joe on.
Oh my God, Wiz, you are so confused. I'm so sorry about him. I really shouldn't have him as a guest when I have actual legitimate guests.
What is the best music video game ever? And why was it Parappa the Rapper?
Oh, but anyone want to answer that?
Who? I
Yeah, I agree. Who? Johnny Young, do you know who that is?
No, I was like, oh, good, Joe's taking that question.
Yeah, no, I think that's
I
the
don't
right
want
answer.
it.
I think that's the right answer. Who? What?
You take it. I don't want it.
I'll take it.
No,
What?
no, you're great.
Huh?
You're very professional.
Hmm.
I am? Thanks. What?
Hey
Yeah.
CBC,
Yeah?
do you remember that time you said your favorite part of the violin was turning on the side and playing it like an ukulele? I, however, love the violin and think Andre Rieu is ballad. Sorry, I'm not sure what I'm saying in my old age.
Yeah, that tracks. Yeah, at least he's apologizing. I don't have to apologize on his behalf.
On the
Great.
other hand, you did say the cowbell was the best instrument, so
Are you saying it's not? Okay, no, I don't want to hear this. Just because you both have fancy, and there's range, and you got to do more, right? Sure, the cowbell's just one donk and you're done, but there's so many different ways you can. Look, like fast, not as fast. Fast. There's so many different ways you can make the cowbell way better than a violin or a piano. So
If the cowbell is so good, name one cowbell song.
Fear the Reaper. Fear the Reaper. Every song you can just put cowbell on and it makes it better. Wouldn't you agree?
debatable.
Look,
like funeral
anything's
marches.
debatable. We are on a podcast,
Oh.
so we have time. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Wiz. Oh.
That's on me. I set the bar to low, like the talent needed for the cowbell.
Hey! You need a lot of talent to play cowbell. Joe, can you believe this? Can you believe this?
We're guests, so it's rude to, agree, but at least someone's saying
Listen,
something.
I'm not shitting on your instruments. Your instruments are amazing. I'm just saying the cowbell's better. You don't need to tell me that it's not, because you're wrong. All right. Okay, so are you ready for the next question? Who wants to take it?
Mhm.
Who wants to take it? Wiz, do you want to take
Oh,
it?
Joe does.
Joe wants to take it? Okay. Here's a question. I'm interested, believe it or not, in what teaching's role has in being a full-time musician. How do you feel about it? Do you enjoy passing on the knowledge to someone else? Or is it like a necessary evil that you have to do in order to actually make a living out of music?
I feel like there is a certain amount of pressure of like feeling the need to teach lessons, because it is one of the most kind of solid career options someone can have as a musician. That being said, I have absolutely loved my career teaching. I was doing full-time teaching before I started Twitch streaming, but then COVID hit, so I couldn't have students in person. And a lot of people don't want to take, lessons on the internet, especially for a difficult instrument like the violin. But I feel like the few that have stuck with me, I still have two at this point that I stick with me. And I feel like we're gonna be in each other's lives for like the rest of our lives. You
Oh, that's
really
nice.
build, yeah, like when you think about it, there's some people that when you meet them every week for an hour, you see them more than like your family or
Mm.
your like just other people close to you. So you really start
I
to,
love this stream. I love what it represents. Also, hi Jonathan Ong.
What? That felt like a dig somehow, but it definitely wasn't. I don't know. It was weird. Worst timing, Wiz. You have the worst timing. I'm so sorry.
They keep
It's like
interrupting Joe.
every
That's all.
every time Joe's like having this earnest, answer. Dickwad here. Yeah.
hey, he's a professional. He's a professional. And we just, he's the level beyond us that we don't quite get.
Yeah, we don't
So
understand it. It's true.
it's fine. Yeah. But yeah, I've loved teaching. The only thing that sucks is when you teach a younger person who is being forced to take that lesson and they hate it and they
Mm.
hate you. And that's been kind of the only downside at times is when I can see in the children's eyes that they
They wish they would.
hate me.
They
And
wish they were playing video games, probably.
yes. Yes.
In which case, they
that's
have the
probably-
perfect teacher and shut up, you little shit, you little snot.
Give me a chance, guys. I can teach you the cool stuff.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Well,
But yeah.
that's so you feel generally pretty good about teaching, I guess. Especially when you find a student that's like not a someone who wants to be somewhere else.
Yes, and I think another like kind of important trait with teaching is realizing that if it's not a good fit, it's fine for the teacher to sometimes bring that up and be like, you know, I've had to do it a couple times, either with a student directly, where I'm like, I feel like we're not communicating very well, and I'm technically your client, and I feel like we're not exactly getting to where you want to be, and I've given them other references for what they might be searching for that I might not be able to provide. So I think it's another important lesson to realize that it's also within your control to kind of keep the lessons flowing in a way that you want and have a good working relationship.
Yeah, damn, that sounds to me like you're not just like you clearly take the teaching seriously because you're like almost results focused. You're not like, I'm just doing this because I want some money. You're like, you want what's
Another
best
question for the
student.
super
Yes?
guest Joe. As a professional teacher, do you think it's at all possible to teach CBC an actual real instrument?
He does play a real instrument, the
Correct
cowbell.
answer. Correct answer. Also, obviously, if I didn't know how to play, if it wasn't a real instrument, the answer would obviously be no. All right. Well, great answer on the actual question, not
Yeah,
Wiz's
thank you.
question. That was actually very fascinating. Mr. Johnny Young, same question. What's teaching like for you?
Well, I have to say that it's basically I'm just going to build on Joe's answer because it's exactly the same. There are teachers who can have students and then just view them as bills. This is my phone bill. This is my car payment. This is my
Like
that's
chat or whatever, right? Yeah.
but that's actually a very unfulfilling way to be because music is a very personal kind of communication. It's kind of like oftentimes when you have music lessons, it's different from classroom teaching because you literally have in classroom teaching you have 1 to 26 if you've got a good ratio. And if it's a bad ratio, it's 1 to 35. And so the amount of care that you can give each individual student is not equitable. It's not the same. But with teachers, it's literally 1 to 1. So if you're teaching people who want to be there, it's ace. It's really great. Like there's something that's really fun about watching people taking on or like taking your ideas and making it their own, acquiring skill, just growth in feeling and in musical interpretation, and everything. It's really really great. What really sucks about teaching is that generally the amount of teaching you have to do to make a full-time living in a major capital city means you do have to take a lot of students who don't want to be there, who you have to sort of like trudge through years of doldruming, and maybe they come good, and maybe they come good for a certain period of time, and maybe they don't, and you can't tell sometimes because everyone has phases. I myself, as a student, had I would call a doldrum period about 3 years during high school, where I don't think much was accomplished, and my teacher literally had to deal with me falling asleep at the instrument. I don't know why I did that, by the way. It wasn't like she was particularly boring or anything. It's just that I had this phase where I would fall asleep in the afternoon like a narcoleptic, and she was just sitting there.
That's very teenage boy of you.
Yeah, she would just be sitting there.
Unrelated to any lesson or teaching or.
Yeah, but it's brutal for the teacher. I feel bad for that teacher now. As a teacher, I've now got my own kids who are like literally throwing themselves around the room, and like, yeah, it's quite interesting. So I found that I got burnt out a little bit after teaching at a number of private schools full time, simultaneously. It was really fun. And so Twitch streaming has been a bit of a holiday from that. I've actually cut down to like a handful of students, and I enjoy working them a lot. I'm actually going to increase my teaching load again, but specifically only privately. I think the factory situation in institutions doesn't lend itself to the most satisfying teaching environment.
Interesting. Well, that's a good answer. They both seem to align pretty well.
Yeah, that's nice.
Some students suck because they don't want to be there or are going through a phase.
I agree. Down with the institution.
Okay,
I agree with y'all. Teaching can be very rewarding, but also detrimental to oneself. Because in my experience, all my apprentices either leave or get melted, so I'm always looking for new hands.
Did you just admit to murdering a bunch of students? What the hell, Wiz? Okay, well, that's sort of, Johnny Young, the tail end of that answer sort of brings me to my next question. How you got into streaming? Who did you first watch? I presume you watched some streams before you started streaming. Who did you originally watch that got you into streaming? Who wants to take that? Who wants to take it? Wiz, you want to take it? That was a joke. Joe, would
It's
you
not
like
my
to?
fault. They want to look into the potion pot while it's cooking.
That is your fault. You should supervise them and not let them look into the potion pot when it's cooking. Anyway, go, Joe.
So I actually never watched a Twitch stream before I started streaming.
What a scoop! What a scoop!
I feel like an imposter. I know. I just like got
I can
lucky.
assure
Oh my god!
you, I can assure you,
I
Joe.
just glanced at chat and I'm seeing all the faces.
Yeah,
oh
I can
my
assure
god.
you, Joe, you are an
No.
imposter. All right. Yeah, turn that imposter syndrome right up. All right.
No, I'm sorry.
You didn't watch a
But-
single stream? How did you know what it was?
One of my students. He was an adult and was like, I think he saw that the background of my phone was like a Zelda wallpaper. And he was like, "Oh, you like video games? You play video game music?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh, you should try going on Twitch. They actually have some music streams." And I was like, but then I didn't do it for like a year. And
Yeah.
he bought me a stream deck, like, and I just never did it. But then one day I was going through sad girl time. I was really bummed and lonely and I just wanted a connection. And so that's why I made a Twitch account. and went
Aw,
live.
that's so
Yeah,
awesome.
I wanted someone to talk to and it
That's
worked.
that's crazy that the like the so I didn't know any of this, just so you know. That the I asked about teaching because I was interested in it, but the fact that one of your students got you into streaming,
Hmm.
that's wild. That's
I know, it's weird.
That's so cool. So
Yeah, like it completely I felt like I just lucked out. I stepped into this and now I'm here in this lovely cardboard pod room.
So
and
before
it's great.
before we get to Johnny's own answer to that, like what started it, I sort of want to move on to the next question off the back of what you've just said. Is
Mhm.
that like, the next question is like, how did your first stream go? given you hadn't really watched much Twitch, like it must have been pretty like, there's a learning curve when you get into streaming, right? There's a huge learning curve.
Oh my god.
How did you
Yeah.
overcome like and then like what were you like, who are these people? Why is Dong 69 420 saying that stuff at me? What is the like, navigating the culture is difficult, I think, especially if you haven't been in it. How did you deal with that, and how did it feel?
I mean, luckily for all new streamers, there was like 2 people at first, so it's super manageable.
You
And
had 2?
whenever-
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Oh, I thought you were about to make fun of me.
No,
It's like,
no.
Aw.
The first bunch of streams I did, there was not 2 people, and I'm counting myself as well.
oh yeah. But yeah, there's actually one of my most watched clips was when I got raided for the first time, but I didn't know what a raid was, and
Amazing.
my chat just was like spammed with raid, and you see in the clip me looking at the computer very confused. And I was like, I think like Twitch has put someone else's chat on my stream. Like, I think it's broken. And I'm just looking at it. And instead of saying thank you, like anyone would with a massive raid as a
Yeah.
small streamer, I just said whatever and I moved on because I thought it was broken.
and now you're on that person's list, and you've never been raided by them since.
No, it's actually super cute. I rated her recently, and she was saying like how proud she was seeing how the channel's grown and like how she thought that was so funny, and she was proud of me, and I was like, oh, that's really nice to see.
Yeah, awesome. Well, my next question will be about like growing an audience, but I think we should go back to Johnny Ong and ask him about his first stream, or who he watched to inspire him. What got you into Twitch?
I'm gonna make Joe feel better, and just let you know that before I started my first stream, I didn't know what Twitch was either.
Imposter! We got
I
another
don't feel
one,
like an
chat.
imposter, though.
We got another streamer before I even knew what it was. What? Get out of here. Get out of
Yes
the
and no.
space. Yeah, give him the D.
Give him the
give him the D,
face.
chat. Yeah.
And the face to him too.
He should have more than Joe got. That's it.
Yeah.
Technically, Joe, we outnumber him, so he's the imposter.
Wait, what? I am sort of off to the side here.
No, but you see, you're doing it weirdly. You're the one who actually watched streams first and then started streaming.
I didn't watch a stream before
I'm
I
with them.
started. What?
What?
I'm kidding. Of course.
You can't imposter us.
I watch heaps of Twitch. What are you talking about? I live it. I breathe it. I bleed purple.
Basically, I just did some random collabs, piano duet wise, with Lara. If you know Lara.
Yeah, I know Lara.
And-
She's rated me many a time.
And so some people she started streaming on Twitch, and then some people on her Twitch stream was like, "There's that Asian guy you play piano with sometimes. Why didn't you have him on?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, why not?" And so she was like, "Hey, do you want to come and stream on Twitch?" I'm like, "What's Twitch?" And she goes, "Well, we play music and there's people there." And I'm like, I didn't quite get it. So I dressed up in a suit and I turned up because we were going to play music. And she stuck us in her piano corner and we played music for 5.5 hours. And there were heaps of people there because Lara was already a thing back then. And all I knew was that Twitch was the most exciting thing performance-wise that I had done in a very, very, very long time. Because traditional classical music stuff is a little bit stilted. And I mean, hella stilted. so I was just like, this is fun. And I actually get to play things by ear because I've always liked playing things by ear. And I just never really had a place to do it because, again, you can't really do that in classical venues. So you're just stuck learning the things everyone wants you to play.
Well, that's there's another couple of questions I have that are sort of floating around the ether, and that sort of relates to the next one, which I'll ask you both, is how does Twitch and performing on Twitch change your performance and or your process? Like, how does the different mediums and space affect the actual music itself?
Well, it totally ruins you, really. Because so Joe has a different. Joe has a different performing background for me, but we'll get into that. Well, she'll get into that. I don't know what it is either. For me, like, it was very classical, and I was a university lecturer, and I was sponsored by Kawaii as a concert artist and things. And I was flying around playing recitals and just doing a whole bunch of normal things. And the normal thing is again, it's a recital format that came about in the like late 1800s and hasn't changed since. And people don't really experience entertainment and things that way anymore. I certainly was bored. And so when Twitch came along and it's like this free form thing where they can talk to you while you're performing, but no one is disturbing the performance
They shouldn't
necessarily.
be allowed, should they? They shouldn't be allowed. It's like,
No,
it
they
is like
absolutely
magic.
should. They have it's amazing. I love it actually, and the fact that you can now, the live stream format being a long form thing as opposed to you go on, you play an 80-90 minute show, and then you go away without even talking to anyone. That's so dead. What we do here now, where we can sit here and the Wiz will just pipe up with some absolute professional interjection,
He's a professional.
or no, just a professional interjection, or we can actually just engage with people in such a quick, real-time thing. It just changes everything, including the way that Joe and I both construct loops. And then people in the audience will sometimes have input on what they would like to hear, sometimes good, sometimes irrelevant, and then you can choose whether to fold that in or not. Like it's actually ruined me for traditional performance. Honestly, I think if I did real gigs again, I would literally be like, and we're going to stream it on this thing, and you can like talk to me
Double
while
down.
I'm playing.
Double down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double down. On it,
Well, I
'cause
mean,
it's just-
there is kind of this new type of, Mark Riboulet, is that his name? Loop Daddy. Like, there's a new type of. It's not really a genre, but it's definitely a
Guests
new
that
way
dress
of.
well is such a nice thing to have. I've been trying to get CBC to at least wash his neckerchief before he comes on my podcast, but he just refuses.
Shut up, Wiz. Yeah, we all love Loop Daddy, Coxonel. But I guess it's a new way of doing things that is a bit more collaborative and not necessarily collaborative with other musicians. It can be collaborative with the audience. Yeah. What about
Well,
you,
music
Joe?
is.
What?
Oh, sorry.
You can
Just
answer.
really quickly, music is a communication and emotive process anyway. Like, it's not a universal language in the sense that if I play a piece of music, you will feel it exactly the same way as I will. But it makes you feel something, and so the fact that the audience can communicate, I felt something for sure, and the fact that the audience can communicate with you while you're communicating with them makes it more of a two-way conversation. And now I'll be quiet.
Which is kind of maybe a bit more like what music was before it was captured by recordings and mass produced and put into the world of capitalism, right? Like, it was more of a communal, collaborative, I mean, my understanding of it anyway. What do you guys reckon?
I'll let Joe take that first.
Wait, can you repeat that? Sorry.
What did I say? Wiz, what did I say?
There was something about like
Yeah, like before music was like recorded and then mass produced so that everyone could listen to Elvis in their room. Music was more of a communal kind of collaborative thing that people would do together, rather than you wouldn't sort of listen to an individual artist, right? It would be more of a community based
Community and stuff. I just work here.
Okay, thanks, Wiz. I think that gives the clarity that I was after. I guess there's not really a question there. I guess I don't know.
No, I mean, even like though you bringing up Elvis recordings, for example, even how we record nowadays is becoming more and more isolated because people are able, one, to do much more on their own, but even the style of recording. Yes, for Elvis's records, for example, they would all record it live within the same room and have different spots in the room where you're still actively
Jonathan Ong and Joe
performing.
plays violin.
God,
My
I'm
sweet
so sorry
guests,
about
I'm
him.
so sorry that the cowboy keeps interrupting you whenever you speak. He blackmailed me into letting him be a permanent guest on my stream because he snuck into my house and found some very private pictures of me and threatened to post them all across the internet if I didn't let him be a guest every day on my stream. My stream, my stream, my stream, my stream, my stream, my stream.
I'm so sorry about him. It is his stream though, so we have to toe the line, I suppose.
I just love that Joe is always giving you highly professional, intellectual answers, and then the Wiz just pipes up.
Yeah, he's a real dick. He's a real dick.
He's shocking.
He's you gotta have some tension on the podcast, some like
It's true.
Some
Well, that's why
yeah,
Johnny
you know?
Ong's here actually for the tension, but
Oh,
Music
I'm
was a
definitely
gathering
Charlie
point and a very big event back in my day. It would get people out of the house and into the town with their family.
oh, that's beautiful, Wiz. Now shut up.
You were talking about different mic positions and different places in the room, Joe.
You were.
That's
yeah.
where we were at.
you mean
Elvis.
for like where to pick
Recording.
up on?
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, like just I guess I'm just saying like with the way production
No, I
is
don't
going
think it will.
nowadays.
Should I just kick him out of the room? Hey, production!
No.
Can we turn his mic off? Sorry, Joe.
It's just becoming more of a like kind of one man job or people recording one at a time or even just like from their home directly now. Like a lot of the recording gigs I have with my home studio, I'll just record from here and send it off.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, just more kind of alone, isolated work.
Yeah,
I would say,
you go.
sorry, because I wanted Joe, because Joe actually has a very different perspectives from me. It's really cool. You were saying that music was a thing that people got together and did previously. I would say that that has largely not changed. The kind of music that I do or did, or I've been trained in, that was never for the people really until actually they did get some industrialization and mass production in there. The mass production of the instrument, the mass production of scores, that kind of thing actually made it feasible for it to be for the people. Previously to that, the only way for a musician to really survive was to attach themselves like a limpet to a wealthy patron and just live off them while composing stuff that the benefactor wanted, and maybe hopefully in your spare time you cranked out something for yourself. And the
They're
fact,
like Twitch streamers.
yeah, except
think-
now our patrons are like a multitude of people on the internet as opposed to a singular entity. So we get to have many masters instead of one.
Mm.
Interesting. Do you think I could have made it back in the day?
Yeah, you would have been a court jester, but then I may have been too, to be honest. Like, you would have had
Our
like
apologies,
the
Joe
jingly
and
hat.
John. He ran out of Ritalin last month, and things around here haven't been the same.
Yeah, classic Wiz.
No.
Yeah. Okay, well, I wanted to ask as well about that's the other question I have, is about growing and keeping an audience on Twitch. Speaking of all of your many masters, as you said, how have you found the challenge of keeping up a Twitch viewership that allows you to continue keeping a Twitch viewership? I imagine there's a lot of stuff that isn't.
Don't you be giving out my problems to the guests. Meds are expensive in this economy.
Yes, they are. You did that though, Wiz. I'll have you know, you did that. Oh, did the king do that? The king did that. King, shut up! Sorry. Yeah, like the challenges aren't necessarily related to, I nailed the word necessarily just then, related to music so much. You have to navigate a completely different space. Both of which neither of you understand because you've never seen it before. How do you how have you found the challenge of keeping an audience, and what is there stuff you could share with each other that might you might relate to, or do you understand what I'm saying? I don't.
No, I do. It's just a huge topic. Like, it's basically a 2-hour thing by itself. Joe, would you like to start?
Oh, sure. I felt like when I started streaming, I cast a very wide net by doing improv over requests that people would send. So I'd send like a YouTube link and I'd just play improv over it. But then as my stream kept progressing and I started to figure out what I wanted to do, it was very scary kind of closing that net in and trying to do more of what I really enjoyed. Like the big step even about doing like paid requests for a song was a very scary jump, but it came back to the fact that like ultimately a good stream is that I have a happy streamer, and I feel like that's so lame to say, but if
No, that's That's a huge part of it. You got to keep yourself.
Yeah.
You got to keep yourself like engaged and entertained, and you can't be switching off yourself, because the second you switch off, then so will your
Yeah.
audience, right?
Yes, I found, especially when I did the live improv requests where people could just put a link in chat, the chat environment from some individuals that, aren't in the community anymore, they would get like really angry and very stern about like, I put my request in chat 1 minute ago and you're not playing it now. Why aren't you playing it now? The demand got so much higher. It felt a bit more like, I don't know, like I was just kind of almost being like pulled around in a way.
Mm.
So finding a way for me to gain some sort of control by, one, making a song list, and two, taking the risk from stopping doing the improv things and actually learning how to loop, because I learned how to loop while I was on stream. Like I was 1 year into my Twitch stream before I learned how to loop, and primarily because my happiness levels started to get really low, because I felt like people were yelling at me in chat to kind of dance monkey, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
Yeah.
Sounds like TikTok now.
Huh?
Sounds like TikTok.
That's TikTok live right now. You go on there and they just yell at you. They don't say hello. They don't say please. They don't say thank you. They don't say anything. They just don't even give you the full title of the song. They give you 2 words that's supposedly
Mhm.
something that you should know. And then if you play more than 2 lines, they tell you you've overdone the brief.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You goofed it. Well, Lara's here. Lara says it's
If you have many masters, whose music do you think you've taken the most inspiration from when you were finding your sound? Mine is Albert Bouchard. He is the best cowbell player I've ever heard.
well, thank you. You mean second best. That's actually a good question, Wiz. But like, Lara says it's hard to be happy while being a jukebox.
Yeah, like that's exactly what I was kind of getting at. So while I know it made a good chunk of people upset when I started to do what I wanted to do, again, at the end of the day, like a happy streamer is going to be a better stream. So I think
long lasting too, because it doesn't mean that you're bending yourself into a pretzel just trying to stay live.
yeah, exactly. Also, Laura, hi.
Yeah, hi, Lara. How's it going? Give it up for Lara, everybody. So
think,
if you're here because you follow either Joe or John, you should definitely also go and follow Lara. They're all friends, right? You guys all friends?
Yeah.
Lara was
Absolutely.
who got Johnny Young into streaming. So.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, that's the only reason I knew what Twitch was in the first place. You can blame her for my channel existing.
You mean thank?
Well, it depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, it very much does.
In terms of your question, though, when you're saying how do you grow and maintain an audience, that's a tricky thing, to be honest. Like, Joe hasn't even got to that part of her answer yet. So, Joe, just feel free to cut in on me anytime, because I never shut up. But
No, go.
basically, it's a mix of stuff. You have to try and attract people, and then you have to try and hook them so they stay. And you have to also keep true to yourself, because no one can pretend to be a thing day in, day out. Like, streaming is long form, so you're doing over 3 hours generally.
Kill.
in one.
Kill.
I forgot that was
Kill.
Sorry, ignore that. Ignore that. Don't worry. Everyone's safe.
Oh my
Everyone's fine.
God.
Don't worry about it. It's just these guys. Sometimes they get a little bloodthirsty. They're a little hungry. Oh, Johnny Young's disappeared. They,
CBC, don't kill your guests.
I'm not going to. Use the title thanks to the 5 kiss subs. Is he back? He's back. Is he back?
Safe?
Well,
safe?
that was
It's safe.
unprofessional. I'm so sorry.
I didn't know where you went. That's all right. You're a professional. I'm not. That's on me. It won't happen again. I promise. I
Oh, okay.
promise.
That was a bit alarming, it reminds me
Yeah.
of going outside.
Yeah, you're
So-
just on a gentle podcast and everyone starts shouting "kill" at you. I understand. I get it.
But generally, like, trying to hook people and then trying to keep them hooked are 2 different things, usually. So, especially when you're doing what Joe and I do, which is loops. Loops take time to build, so you need people with an attention span. when people come in and they see 3 seconds of you like doing part of a phrase of a piece of music, or worse, in my case, learning a piece of music, then generally the response is, "This is boring. I want to see an explosion," and they switch back to COD or whatever. And so trying to find your people is generally trying to nitpick some, like, you attract the people who like you anyway, but there's not as many of them, clearly.
How do you...
And then trying to retain them, because some of the people who are with me now, they've been there for like 90 months of me doing stuff. And there's only so much you can evolve a format. I thought that I could double and triple and quadruple and quintuple down on quality, but at the end of the day, like, everything that you do long term will normalize, and so you generally will just bore people, not because you did anything wrong, but just because you're not doing things completely different enough. Like, you need to actually change the spectrum of what you do quite comprehensively.
It's a fine line, isn't it? You have to change,
Yeah,
but
really
you have to
is.
change and adapt, but not too much. You can't do it too much. Like,
Not too suddenly.
yeah, not too suddenly.
It's like being a sheepdog, and you've got like a flock of sheep, and then you're just trying to keep as many of them rounded up as possible, and they just keep wandering off. And then,
I think comparing them to sheep is a good idea. I think you've nailed that.
I mean, it's a metaphor.
Joe, tell us about your sheep.
I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't gotten no kinds of sheep.
Carl, stop, thank you for the 5 gift subs. I told you I turned it off if you were trying to yell "kill it," everyone. But thank you. Yeah, I think Johnny Young's right. Do you have anything to add to that, Joe? Like, or you can tell us about how how you've maintained an audience enough that you can keep it up. Do you change anything? How often do you shift things?
I do try my best to add a new song in some way, shape, or form every week, or like revisit something. But again, I feel like I also do that to keep myself engaged as much as possible. I feel like, especially after doing streaming now for 5+ years, at the end of the day, I just have to figure out whatever I need to do to come on camera and still be excited and happy and engaged, because I think, John, you brought this up at some point. Like, there's been moments where I'd revamp something and I thought I made a huge improvement on something, and I'd asked, chat what they thought, and usually, like, no one really notices that big of a change, because ultimately they're just there to see you to begin with.
There is
And
this.
yeah.
Sorry, no, continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. And I found that almost to be like a hard pill to swallow in a way, because there was a part of me that was like, oh, but I worked like 6 hours on this new arrangement, and like I wanted to see everything flood with, like, I see the difference, but I learned that it's actually way better to have people just be like, yeah, like, we were happy and we're still happy. Like, you don't need to just like run yourself ragged
Yeah,
to do these big changes.
that's another thing. It's like really tricky to sort of navigate that, because I think Twitch primarily it seems to be a platform that rewards quantity over quality, and I think that we hold ourselves to a standard, and I think actually holding ourselves to that standard, regardless of whether you get the feedback on it or not, is a good thing to do. Where it becomes an issue is when it tips into you being stressed or not a happy streamer, because you're holding yourself to a standard that you can't maintain. But I think it being there and doing all this work and no one really noticing it, I don't think that matters. I think you do it anyway, because it's part of keeping yourself engaged and keeping yourself entertained enough to continue, to show up every day. So, but I think it takes the wind out of your sails a little bit when you do put in all that effort and it's seemingly unnoticed. I still think it shifts the vibe. I still think it changes something that you might not get feedback on immediately. So, keep doing it.
I think the other reason I kept improving quality and so on all the way through the signal chain and then skill wise and then production wise was not just necessarily because it was for the stream, which at some level I realized it's not a strict meritocracy and I'm not like in a classical music competition. It's not about that at that point. We could have stopped a long time ago. But the reason why I didn't do that was because as a slightly older streamer, I'm not in my 20s, and I just was like, well, I'm spending time as an adult doing this, and I know that I need to keep growing as a person and in my profession. And this is actually allowing me to level up different other skills that I don't know where they'll be deployed, but at least they work now. And so over the time, acquiring all of that was what I viewed as a capital investment. It's not a very good business plan if you're thinking about it like that, because the actual utility, in a commercial sense, is unknown. But the skills have been developed, whether they're useful for that or not. And that's what I've been like holding on to. Besides the fact that it's strictly not required for streaming, if I'm honest. What people want now, and what I've been looking at doing, is diversifying outside of music. Because I used to think that music was diverse in itself enough that people would stay interested. I don't have a song list particularly that anybody uses. They just usually get me to play things once, and then that goes into a bank of things, and they can request it again forever in perpetuity, essentially. And I can pull it out quite quickly then, because I've already transcribed it essentially. But I've had like a sudden recent realization that that's also not enough, that all the music at some point will become boring to a person when it's done by you. So I'm actually branching out into different kinds of genres of streaming entirely, because I had to step back and go, well, Twitch is actually a streaming platform. It's not necessarily just a music platform, clearly. I literally just had to step back and go, well, what else can you do? People keep asserting I have a personality. I'm not quite sure, but we're going to experiment with that and see if this personality thing actually pans out. We see where we're at. I'm just running an experiment right now.
Should I run a poll? Chat, does Johnny Ong have a personality or not?
Oh, that's trial by fire.
What
I
do you
never
mean?
actually...
Wait,
Well, I never
it's
run
in the
I
name
never
of
run polls like that.
science.
Oh, okay. Let's go. In the name of science. Well, they didn't have to say, you didn't specify if it was a good or a bad personality, so it could be a bad personality, but it's still a personality. All right, chat, you can still vote yes if it's a bad personality.
We want me to change the question. Is Johnny Ong a piece of shit or not?
Oh, you can do that.
Oh goodness.
What about you, Joe? You have a second channel for diversifying, don't you? You have Joe Doesn't Play Violin as a channel. Do you still use that? What's going on?
It's been a minute, but that's how I found you. I was like, I want to rate someone who's not a music streamer, and that's how I came upon this lovely world.
Excuse me. I am a music streamer. Oh, Johnny Ong was jamming.
Well, it was not quite my tempo.
Yeah, so you haven't really touched the gaming stuff. Would you ever game on your main? Game on main?
I hate to admit that I was scared to do a gaming stream on my main stream because
Hey, streamers,
I was
possessing the list
worried
for this. We greatly appreciate all of your work and can see all of the hard work you put in it. Thank you for making our days so much better. Giving was back now. Oh God, what happened? I felt wholesome and good. It was terrible.
You're saying nice things,
okay,
but
you
his timing is terrible. I'm sorry, Joe.
I loved it. That was so nice. But yeah, I couldn't help but be afraid that, all the numbers would go down. I hate admitting it, but I look at those damn numbers and I knew that if I did a game stream, it would probably go down. And I did like having an option of a channel where I could relive the high I got from when I first started streaming of being like, I'm just deciding to do this whenever I want. It's not on a schedule.
Yeah, it's not
the
a
lighting
job.
can be crap. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can be
yeah.
in my jammies. So I like having kind of that safe place where, it's like my core group that usually comes there. But Honestly, the main reason I stopped doing it was I was tired of carrying my PlayStation up and down the stairs. I'm gonna be real.
I mean,
That's
fair
like
enough.
actually the reason.
Yeah, yeah, like what
It's
really
annoying.
really you need to fundraise a second PlayStation, right?
I've
Yeah.
thought about it, but that feels so wasteful.
No, it's like you want chat. You want more Joe game streams? Buy the PlayStation. All right. There's too many stairs in the way. Okay.
Can you link my PayPal, please, so
Yeah.
I can get that PlayStation? That'd be
It's
pretty
true though.
sweet.
There's friction. The more friction there is to starting the thing, that inertia can be enough to just stop you from doing anything.
I also also think that's a huge deal. Is like especially getting started with anything. Like if you're someone who's wanting to get started in streaming, you just got to set a date and do it because you could like especially like people who are creative often are like perfectionists, and there's no room for perfecting in this space in streaming. You just can't perfect it. You just have to put it out and see how it goes and tweak it and constantly tweak it and tweak and tweak and tweak, and that's it. And that's what streaming is. You're welcome.
What's nice
Well-
about? Oh, sorry. You go first.
No,
Jo.
your turn. I was just talking a bit. You go.
I was just saying that what's nice about this space is that you can truck out something that's not particularly amazing, and because you're just trying it, and then Twitch is a slightly more understanding community as a whole. They won't come in here and go, "Well, this is shit." They basically come in and they're reasonably understanding.
Yeah, they
Did I-
they do that. They do kind of do that.
do that.
sometimes.
Yeah, but they're a
Yeah.
minority. Like they're just like the people
No, you
who.
weren't here yesterday, dude. That was definitely the majority and the core audience who's always here were doing look.
I don't know
they'll
what
go
happened
right now.
yesterday. I don't know what happened yesterday. You must have really shat the bed, CBC.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Because
Well,
I will say one more other
If
thing.
a wild
too,
bear
based on what
shits in
Joe
the
was
woods
saying.
and no one is there to hear it, does it really make a sound?
we covered that 2 weeks ago, and no. I mean, a week ago, and no.
It doesn't.
No, go, Johnny.
I thought the rules of physics would still apply. But anyway, what I was trying to say was building on what Joe was saying. Actually, the prevailing wisdom years ago was that if you do other things other than your main thing, so for example, if you're a music streamer and you start playing games on your channel, the prevailing wisdom was that you're damaging your brand, which is literally the words given to me. Like you're damaging your brand, and you should just never do it. So I just never did. And in fact, actually, that stopped me from doing any other kind of stream, because we used to do stupid cooking streams and absolutely random stuff. And so then we really got locked into a very particular format that was a guarantee of quality. And now that I am doing gaming streams and the CC, like I'd also like go and see how it went, and you look at it and you go, So this is the people who watch me essentially lick paint, and that's where you can identify the people who will literally watch you do anything. But even now, like when you discuss it with other people in the industry, they'll tell you, "Oh yeah, no, it's down because you're no longer committed to your main thing. You're damaging your brand, and you now have to try and figure out something else because it'll keep going down."
Yeah.
And this is the kind of prevailing wisdom that people give you in the space, which is not good for your confidence in
No,
continuing
well,
to do
it's-
anything outside of your main lane.
It's true and untrue, right? Because I think it's the same if you think about the time when you stream, right? You build an audience at the time that you're streaming, right? If you switch time zones, you're gonna lose the audience that aren't simply awake at that time. But so you build when you're alive. So same deal with like the type of content you're doing. Obviously, you're going to see a drop off if people usually show up for music and you start doing cooking, but then you start to build a cooking audience, and then you maybe have a core audience of people who enjoy watching you cooking who are going to show up and watch you do music. So it's a way to diversify in which allows you to build your core up. But you're gonna lose out initially. But so it's not damaging your brand; it's changing your brand rather than damaging it. But that being said, we have to take a quick break. I've snoozed the ad 3 times. We have to take 3 minutes of ads, and we'll continue this discussion right after the ads. Wiz, you want to throw us to the commercial? Quick, Wiz. You've got 16 seconds. Joe, Joe, do you want to throw us to the commercial?
Commercial.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Commercial.
Presenting the new eau de toilette from Conk. Come alive now with the smell of freedom, the smell of Ohio. New from Conk, Stonk de Palma. Stonk de Palma is the exhilarating new fragrance that brings to you the charm and sophistication of the Midwest with a little touch of bougie business. Believe in freedom. Believe in your dreams. Believe in Ohio. The new fragrance from Conk. It's Stonk de Palma. Believe in your dreams. Believe in Conk.
Hi, I'm Trent from Trendy Tents. Why don't you come on down and get yourself a trendy tent with an intense deal today for $10.99. We got 2 tents. 2 tents for you. If that's too intense, get yourself 1 tent. I don't care. I'm Trent from Trendy Tents. Now it's time to hear from some of our favourite customers.
Trendy Trents saved my life. They are incredibly adequate tents. They keep out the wind and the rain, and that's the thing that I need from a tent.
These tents are top tier. You hear? I've had this tent for near on a year. My wife and I like to take it down to the river and have a frisky time. It's a top tier tent.
First time I ever was inside a trendiest tent, I became the most beautiful version of myself that I ever was. And that's a true story. 10 out of 10 Trent's trendiest tents will make you the person you're always meant to be.
Come on down to Big Sal's Family Restaurant. It's Big Sal back again with a family restaurant you love. Bring your whole family down to Big Sal's Family Bistro. We got buffets, we got a jello cart, we got everything you could ever want. And on top of that, we guarantee you will finish your whole plate. That's the Big Sal guarantee. No one gets to go home till your plates are clean. Only at Big Sal's Family Restaurant.
Hi, and welcome back to the pod. It's Will It Pod? The greatest pod ever to pod in the history of pods. Today with us, we're joined with us by Johnny Young and Joe plays violin. How professional was my welcome back from the ads? I've never really done this stuff.
It sounded a little uninfused compared to your opening one. We went, Will it pod, Will it pod, Will it pod, Will it pod, pod. And then you just went, Will it pod.
Yeah, podcasting is quite tiring. I'm feeling quite tired.
I mean, the Wiz is doing most of the work, but...
Dude, he hasn't played the cowbell once.
It's true, he hasn't.
Well, I'm all out of questions. I asked all my questions, but I think we were having a good discussion about streaming and building audience, and, there's probably plenty more we can talk about. Oh, Joe's froze. Oh my god.
The wind has changed, but she's smiling. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Joe, you look cold. You look cold, Joe. She's frozen cold. Oh no. Laura's Joe.
It's just retro. It's 8-bit.
Retro Joe.
Ah!
That was almost auto-tuned.
Oh, wait. Since said this, I'd love to get something off of my chest.
Robo Joe.
Oh, just say so.
Hey, production. What are you doing? What are you doing to her? Paint robotic wailing. Quick, John. Phil.
I wish you both could have met our good
Yeah,
friend
no.
Greggy. He is another amazing musical talent CBC knows. He released a string of back-to-back hits called Greggy Plops.
He did,
That
the
all
Greggy
went
Plops.
#1 in Nova Scotia.
Oh, did they?
I think you would have hit it off so well.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Technical issues. Please stand by.
I am using all of my powers to bring Joe back to us. Humina Hamina, come back to us, Joe.
Everything is going just as planned. No worries, CBC.
Oh, jeez. Well, maybe we should call it. I don't know. Joe seems to have... Oh! And she's gone. Oh, she's back! Joe back? Joe...
Am I?
Joe's back? Ish?
She's moving.
She's back-ish.
She has most of her pixels.
Hooray!
Anyway,
You know, people
Anyway.
work really hard to get that kind of effect, Joe. And you're just doing
thank
it.
you.
One of
Thank you,
Joe's many
cheers.
talents.
Anyway, I didn't know that NAUR was specific to people saying that's how Australian people said no.
We
I thought it
don't-
was a Twitch thing.
We don't say no like that, okay? That's a
But
lie.
no, you
Made
you
up.
absolutely don't. But I didn't know that that's what it meant to some people, but it's not true.
Look, they're saying it now in chat. Oh no. I don't say it like that. I say it like this. I say it like this. Oh no. I don't say it like that. I say it like this. Oh no. Okay, so I don't-
Nor.
That's right, Wiz. I don't. No,
I've-
you said it wrong. I say it like this. Oh no. Not
I
like
just
how
felt so dumb because I didn't know.
you didn't know.
I didn't know. I thought it was like a Pepe or like a Kappa, like a Twitch thing, but it's very much so not.
You say you say you say Pepe and Kappa like someone's parents. Oh, are you doing
I told
a
you
little
I'm an
Kappa
imposter.
there? John,
No, I
you want to
don't
try
know.
you want to try the Kappa test? Say a Pepe,
What's
say a
Kappa
Kappa, say an Omega lol.
Amigo. Oh yeah, no. Unfortunately, I have become
Well,
quite
you're
Twitch
Noria,
pilled.
ya no, Noria, don't know Noria. You're pretty good though.
Yeah, you're pretty good though.
That's a tongue twister.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
it is.
So don't we just say oh no? Like what? There's no noir in there at all. It's just-
No, there's not. We don't say it. That's what I'm saying. We don't say no.
Are you chewing on some tobacco again?
No.
He's got a big old ball or something in his mouth.
Uh,
Oh, rah.
what were we talking about? Oh, it's gone
We're
off
talking
the
about how to
rails. I
dra-
ran out of questions. I can't lead this thing anymore. You two, Wiz, you do it. I'm throwing to the Wiz.
Well,
That's
John, can I
dangerous.
ask you a question?
Yeah, I mean, sure, go.
Unheard of, I guess.
Has
asking
being on this
another guest. Wait.
podcast deterred you from reaching out to collaborate with people live, or made you want to do it more? I know Johnny Ong has performed with Laura and Tanny Black Media. I'm not as familiar with Joe. Has she done a music stream live with someone else?
Ooh, good question, Wiz. Actually, good question.
I've done only a few collabs. I actually had one that was really special. I studied with another musician on Twitch who was my violin teacher for over a year, Julia Dina. I don't know if you're familiar with her, John, but she's amazing. Oh,
Actually,
is
I'm
the
not familiar.
You're glitching.
I'm not
You're
familiar
Oh,
with
glitching
it.
oh my
I'll
gosh.
get it off you later so I can have a look.
She's incredible, but someone came in my Discord and was like, a new violinist enters the arena and was like, oh, let me see who this is. And she played one note, and I was like, that was the most beautiful note I've ever heard, and I want to sound like her.
Did it
So,
sound
I
like this,
found her-
Joe? Can I just interrupt real quickly to say, did it sound like this? What the hell was that noise? Did it sound like that? Did the beautiful note sound like that, or?
No.
What did it sound like then?
What is the best type of instrument, and why is it string?
That's rude. It's cowbell. Joe, come back. What do you mean? It must have sounded something
Anyway.
like
no,
that.
no, I can't do it. No, I can't.
You can do it. Give the people what they want. Johnny Young, you had a question for Joe?
No, Joe had a question for me, but
Joe, you have a question for John? Wiz, you have a question for
Yes.
me? Yeah, okay, go.
No. John, so being a violinist, I get a bunch of people asking for very specific songs for the violin. What is like your most requested thing as a pianist that people are like, please play this?
Oh.
See, that's immediately.
La Campanella, and then the third movement of Moonlight Sonata, but I don't often remember what it is. Just go Beethoven or Moonlight. What else do they want? If they think they're really educated, then they ask for Balakirev by Isla May. And then we get some really weird people who come in and ask for extremely specific movements of classical things, like I'll just have that in my head, that aren't actually popular at all. Piano Man doesn't get a look in as much. It's usually La Campanella. It's just like, oh, can you move fingers fast? And these days, it's my favorite one actually is Rush E, because actually that's highly playable. And it's the easiest one of the lot. But so now all the kids just want Rush E, and so it's like, okay, cool, you can have some Rush E, no worries. But yeah, they don't really ask for.
Go, Joe.
No, CBC, please.
What do you get asked to play a lot, Joe?
I actually banned or I blocked the word Paganini in my chat because I
No
can't do it.
Deny.
No. Yes, I know they're testing me. They're trying to make me feel bad, so I just block it and you can't ask for it. But
Well, this is why, look, and I hate to bring it back to my initial question, but this is why the cowbell is superior. You can play any song on the cowbell, and there's none of this. You don't have to worry. No Paganini. You can play it all. You can, whatever you want, you can make it happen. You know what I'm
Can you
saying?
play us the Australian national anthem right now, CBC?
Yeah, easy. Are you ready?
Yes.
Australians, all let us rejoice. Our national anthem sucks. It's boring and is actually just as good. Play it on a cowbell or any other instrument if you like it.
Oh.
yeah, that was pretty good.
It was pretty good. I stand corrected.
Thank you.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Oh my god, I've
The
changed
last
mine
witch I
here
dated
today.
said I moved my fingers fast.
The last witch you dated? You out there dating witches? I don't think you've dated anyone in your life, Wiz. You've got real incel energy, so to speak. Our anthem is outdated, it's true. I mean, it's probably the only song in the world that has the word Gert in it. Have you ever heard of the word Gert, Joe?
No, that sounds gross. I don't like it.
Are there any instruments you currently don't play that you would still like to learn?
Ooh, good question, Wiz. No, I'm pretty happy with just the cowbell. I don't think I would really need to learn anything else. I mean, how can you expand on, how can you get better than the best? You know what I mean? Do either of you want to answer that question?
Can we please discuss John's pony fetish, CBC?
After he answers this question about learning a different instrument.
Yeah, of course. There's lots and lots of different instruments I would love to learn, but time is a factor.
I can teach you cowbell if you want. Won't take too long. Won't take too long.
Step out of the car with your hands in the air. We have you girt.
So, Joe, girt means surrounded by. It is a gross word, and Australia is allegedly girt by sea. So,
yeah,
that's the correct response. That's the correct response. Yeah. What an uninteresting fact.
I feel like dirt sounds like something you like spit up when you're sick.
It does, doesn't it? It's like gross dirt that's from that's definitely from the body. Hey.
Yeah.
I think all the other instrumental families are interesting because as primarily a pianist, right? You have an instrument's one tone color. I mean, every instrument's one tone color generally. And so the ability
for the cowbell,
which is half a tone color. And when you have basically So I actually bought myself a tenor horn because I wanted to be weird specifically, and then I thought I could teach myself on YouTube. But the tenor horn is so weird that there's only 2 YouTube videos on playing the tenor horn, and they only cover the absolute beginner thing. And every time I try to get a...
Forgive my ignorance, a tenor horn is a horn that costs $10, right?
No, I wish it did, but it didn't. It cost me like 40 or 50 times that. But anyway, beyond that, it's basically a small lower brass instrument. It's smaller than a tuba. It's smaller than the smaller tuba, which is like a euphonium. So it's a tenor horn. It's just smaller, but it's bigger than a trumpet. It's the viola of the brass world. Let's put it that way.
Oh, that's well put.
My mom said I was half a tone color. No, I know what that means. Wait, no, I still don't know what that means. Fun fact, Gert by C was the name of my college jazz fusion band. I played the Remen.
Wow.
Theremin?
Oh, the Ryman?
The Ryman. I heard a
Oh,
joke
no, I think
about a
it's the
theremin.
third.
I heard a joke. You want to hear a joke about a theremin?
Yes.
I used to.
Which horn is best? And why is it the French?
I'm trying to tell a joke here, Wiz. Please don't interrupt me. The joke goes, it's done. It's been done a lot. Okay, it's not my joke, but it's I used to play the theremin, but I had to throw it out because I hadn't touched it in years.
Mm.
You get it?
Yeah.
Your face looks like the sound of crickets.
I was thinking about French horn. Sorry.
Oh, you were distracted. I see.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about the French horn.
But the theremin's the one where you don't touch it. Do you get it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I actually have 2 theremins.
And as we know, okay, as you would know if you watch my stream often, the best jokes are the ones you have to explain.
Mm.
That was a really good joke, Ben.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So Joe, any other instruments you would like to learn? Theremin, cowbell, maybe the horn that John was describing?
I want to play the clarinet very badly.
Oh.
Specifically, like American 20s to 30s old time jazz solos. Oh my god, that music warms my heart. It
Cowboy,
is so
you get touched
happy.
less than a theremin. That's okay, John. That happens to me too. Sometimes I just...
What, Wiz? Finish your sentence. Also, stop interrupting Joe.
It's okay.
He's such a
He's
sod.
just... Clarinet's
But,
crazy, Joe.
Yeah, so
I love the clarinet.
when do we get when are we gonna get a Joe clarinet stream? Joe plays clarinet.
I have one, but I need to get it padded. Is that what it's called? Which is like super expensive.
Oh.
But when I was in school, I did a couple of music education classes, and you'd have to learn basics of each instrument so you could teach it. And so in one of the classes, I was playing clarinet, and we had to pretend we were in an elementary school band and conduct each other. So you could like learn how to conduct and play the instrument. And after an hour and a half of playing clarinet, I stood up and I cued everybody with my little conductor hands. And I slowly felt my vision going out. And my teacher was like, sit down, sit down, sit down. And I blacked out because I breathed too much air into my clarinet over the course of an hour and a half because my technique was bad.
Oh no! So that's why you're putting it off as well. 2 reasons:
Oh, no.
childhood trauma, and that it needs to be repadded or whatever it is. So
No, I got it worse.
You know?
I
Like,
fe-
servicing a woodwind instrument is more than a piano sometimes.
Is it?
Like,
So-
yeah, it's crazy.
So,
Sit down, sit down, sit down, you're rocking the boat.
Okay. So I feel like, Joe, maybe there's a fork in the road here, where you maybe have to ask chat either to buy you a PlayStation, or fix your clarinet. Should we do a poll?
Sure. I'm a woman of the people, so whatever they decide will happen.
Okay, interesting. That's good.
Mm.
You heard it here first. Chat.
One of the craziest things about clarinet is that a lot of instruments, when you, like woodwind instruments, when you blow harder, it goes up an octave, and the clarinet goes up an octave and a half, which is kind of crazy because then your fingerings go all whack when you go higher.
Huh.
Is that true? I don't play the real clarinet myself.
I believe that's true. It's true for my cute little penny whistles.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, arr! The top's gone.
It's invisible. It's got invisible magic tip.
It looks very sharp to blow on.
Yeah, it's pretty treacherous.
Well, friendos.
I
You-
started an Only
Oh.
Wizards to get my PlayStation 4.5.
And how's it going? How's it going, Wiz?
Oh, you got me. That was good.
Do either of you or Wiz, do you have any questions for each other or for the Wiz, or do you want to ask me anything, or anything else?
You can go back to nuts and bolts.
How many of your
streaming.
students have you suspected of being stuck in a Groundhog Day loop?
What?
He's a professional, all right. Professional Saj.
So, do you find that you have to do a lot of preparation, either of you, I guess, off
Could you
stream?
please
I mean,
share your
clearly.
schedules with everyone?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
That's a good one too. Mine was related to like there's FaceTime, there's the prep time that you do for streams, and then there's the actual time spent on streams. And I guess this is a question for both of you, and you might have very different answers. Like how much time do you spend on prep, and how much time do you stream a week, and how do you manage? Well, basically all of that, really.
You want to answer that, Joe?
Sure. So I stream 4 days a week. I try to aim for like 3 hours each session. And I try to commit at least 3 hours every day of some sort of active practice or arrangement. And that's kind of a minimum. Otherwise, on a good practice day, I try to practice about 2 to 3 hours. And then I'll do an arrangement for like another 2 hours. I put in a lot of time, I guess.
Would
but
you ever stream the practicing? Or do you feel like it's not polished and not what people want?
Well, practice is when you play the things you're bad at. So I don't know if I'd
But-
want to do that.
But I think that's the thing. We touched on it earlier, is that like they like the thing of being a perfectionist and trying to make it this certain thing. It swings
Mhm.
the other way too. Like that's what we were noticing, is that like you put in all this effort, no one notices it. You can take away that effort, and I would posit that you could show the practicing, and people would appreciate seeing your process and understanding how it is you get the polished thing. Especially if you titled the stream, "I'm practicing." It might not sound good, but but now the content isn't polished music. It's the process of practicing to get to the point of polished music. So, would you ever consider doing that? Or is
I
it
would
sacred?
I'd maybe do like a Spark Notes version of
Mm.
like my practice section. It's just like, for example, like John, you'd know what I'm talking about. Like for vibrato practice, I'd go between half steps at an extremely slow tempo that's like unbearable to listen to. It's like, it's basically whenever you see someone playing a violin poorly as a joke on TV, like that's what it sounds like.
Right.
But it's good for me, so I
Yeah.
do it.
Right.
And a lot of like double stops, which is when you play two notes at the same time for intonation work, and just drone it for like long periods of
I
time.
once streamed practicing with my magic wand for 3 hours.
No, you didn't, Wiz. I'm so sorry about him. I'm so sorry.
Ew.
Correct.
I mean, he is a wizard.
Correct
It's maybe
points to Joe, who is correct. This guy. Can't take him anywhere.
The streaming practicing is actually a fraught thing, because if your main thing is playing stuff well and people actually tip you for that, and then they tune into your channel and you're going for 5 hours, I think they won't actually know when they're going to get the vibrato practice, or when they're going to get the good stuff that they actually support you with financially. And that to me is the main reason why I wouldn't do practice on my mainstream except as a joke. I have a second channel, and I do practice sort of stuff on that because no one expects me to do anything good on that channel.
Ah,
And
I see.
that is the actual expectation, and I don't expect any support for it either. I just make noise
Hmm.
and do experiments essentially. And then if you show up, you're getting essentially the worst of me, and that's a fact. So the main channels then eventually has to be stuff that has to be of a certain quality anyway. I did actually try practicing as like a meme thing, and that's why sometimes people in your chat earlier today said page 18, because we got stuck on one page of a particular thing. I had this idea that I could learn a piece of music live on stream, but
The audacity.
yeah, especially if it's a classical virtuosic transcription. That went very poorly, and now that it's basically become a meme, and I don't think I'll ever do it again. I don't think I'll ever
Once
do it
bitten,
again.
twice
So it would be
shy.
like watching CBC play shooters instead of Shroud.
I mean, he's pretty good shot.
Thank
The
you.
CBC is actually a pretty good shot.
Thank you. I mean, in comparison to Shroud, I'm not, but thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, but in comparison to like you know what I mean. Like in comparison to normal people, pretty
yeah.
good.
Normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's a normal person?
None of us clearly.
Yeah.
But then CBC, I mean, I know it's your stream and your podcast, but then the same question will go for you because like you literally had to build a room for us to sit in.
I can't remember anything more than 5 minutes ago, so forgive me if this has already been asked. Do either of you have other musical or creative outlets other than streaming?
Good question. I mean, you interrupted John, you actual piece of shit. He was about to
That's
ask me
alright.
a question, but
Should interrupt me more. Equal opportunity.
yeah. I mean, do you want to answer that, or should I answer your question? How do you want to do this?
We can answer both questions, but like
Okay,
you
we'll
can-
say
you can-
you answer that while at the same time as I answer your question, so we're both talking at the same time. And Joe, if you just want to make some noise over there, you do it. So
basically,
I think
we do
I
definitely have
don't
other
really
creative instruments outside of
I
streaming.
don't really
because we do missions and teaching.
do anything.
and
I
then
just show
sometimes
up.
we
I show
just
up
myself.
4 days a week,
And it's actually quite a good thing. I don't
the
actually
3
know
days that
when
I'm not
CBC
streaming,
will start
I literally
talking,
just lie around doing
because
nothing.
we are literally.
And that's and
CBC,
that's
I actually
cool.
wanted to listen to your answer. I'm going to shut up now and listen to your answer.
No, well, I'll listen to yours while you listen to mine.
Oh.
I can't remember anything more than 5 seconds ago, so forgive me if this has already been asked. Do either of you have other musical or creative outlets other than streaming?
That tracks. That tracks. That's just solid. That's just solid. Good job, Wiz. That's my kind of
That
joke.
was awesome. Yay!
That's my kind of joke. Unfortunately, he's
I
not
like
joking.
that.
He's 100%
Oh.
serious, this guy.
It's a good thing that you keep him around because, otherwise he might be lost, confused, and somewhat depressed.
I
and
don't
distressed.
keep him around. I can't get rid of him. He's like sticks around like to smell that it is that you can smell that he is already. You know what I'm saying?
Good survival instincts.
Um,
Not gonna lie.
To answer your question, John, so I stream 4 days a week. Okay, Thursday to Sunday. I've started doing 2 streams a day. Which is going okay. I'm quite tired today. I think it catches up, right? Like I don't know if I can maintain 8 streams a week. I don't know if I can maintain it. I think I need to maybe cut one of those days in half. The days that I'm not streaming, I don't.
What is your favorite musical movie? Whether it's a regular musical or a biopic about a musical performer.
Wiz, I'm answering. You're so rude. The 3 days that I'm not streaming, I do literally nothing, okay? I don't spend them building rooms for us to sit in or any of that stuff. I lie around looking at the ceiling and that's what I do. I just show up on those 4 days and that's it. And that's it. That's any follow-ups? Any follow-ups?
No, I mean clearly you could work a lot harder. Have you
Yeah,
considered doing?
I'm
2
lazy as
streams
shit.
a
I'm
day,
so lazy.
7 days a week.
7 day week? No. I need to sit around and do nothing. It's
It's a hella productive nothing. I'll tell you.
Wait, what's your schedule like?
Oh, it's everywhere. So I do 3 main music streams a week, and that will stay because people know what those are. And then now I'm doing 2 gaming streams a week, ish, and then I'm doing but they're not on schedule yet. 'Cause
Am
I'm
I
not quite sure what my
interrupting you,
schedule is.
or are you interrupting me? It is my podcast.
We're just getting our whiz quota for every couple of minutes. You guys should keep that up, or maybe you should make him talk
If
more.
I had $1 for every time Wiz talked, I tell you what, that'd be sweet.
It would be sweet. Make it happen, guys. But yeah, no. Then I do the two-ish gaming streams. I need to really kind of work that out as a thing, and then I'm actually doing commissions and things that are kind of unofficial, but they're just sort of like sitting in my to-do box for like a year. And I'm finally doing them, and so I put those on the spare channel, the sus channel, the one where you might get me.
Sus channel. What is
sus,
the name of the sus channel? Is it?
It's Rasian85. It's RASIAN 85. Because when I used to play games with my friends in the US, we had a gaming group, and I can be a bit of a toxic gamer. I used to be. I'm much calmer now.
Rude.
And
Am
I used to play a lot of
following you,
FPS.
Am I not following you? I must be following you. I reckon I followed it years ago.
Why would you follow the alt? We're just you just get me breathing heavily in the mic while I cycle down something called Murder Alley at night. So you just see a little circle of light and then heavy breathing. That's where you get the heavy breathing streams. And then sometimes you get the Jonathan is making a piece of music streams. Those ones are actually better, but very boring because it's production, and production is essentially watching somebody painting a room. That's basically what that is. And
oh my god, have you seen any room painting streamers? Because that feels like a market that's completely untapped.
I feel like maybe I will do a painting stream at one point because I do have a lot of holes in my wall and I should probably paint it.
You're looking at my walls, just so you know. You're looking at my walls when you said that. Rude.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's okay. It's not your walls. You didn't build any of this, remember?
What?
This is not your room. You just walk in here and sit down. You just show up. You just work here.
Yeah.
You literally said that.
Shut up. Hey Joe, help me. Help me in telling John to shut up. Shut up, John.
This is awkward.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't the Wiz this time. That is awkward.
Yeah, but some people will just want to hang, and so I've embraced the whole hang thing. Just like I'm trying to embrace being a streamer more than a musician. I think that's. Oh yeah, that's a question. Do you mind if I ask Joe a question? Joe, do you see yourself as a streamer or as a musician primarily?
CBC ate all the paint after it chipped off the wall.
Shut up, Wiz. Joe's answering a question.
I love him. That's tough. I think I would say musician first. Mostly because of like we were talking about the work you do outside of stream, which basically is kind of helping everything else I do. Is I still do a lot of hired gigs, recording sessions, live shows and tours and things like that. So I feel like with all these different hats, the unifying thing is musician. So I would probably say I'm a musician first. But I will admit Twitch is what's helping me mainly keep the bills paid and everything right now, which is so amazing and I never thought would happen. So thank you. But I think I would say musician first.
Yeah, I identified similarly, to be honest. I see myself primarily as a musician and then a streamer. But
Same.
Lately I've been trying to really sort of like kind of crack out of that for at least on the Twitch, at least on Twitch. I'm trying to sort of like reframe myself in my head as a streamer so I don't get locked into only presenting certain kinds of music in certain ways. Because I feel like do you feel like what you do puts you into a really sort of like deep groove? It's very difficult to break out of said deep groove. Do you even want to break out of the groove?
No, yes, I feel like it's all leading somewhere. Like I do feel like while I am locked into a certain system, like it's just continuing to up a level each time, because my main goal when I started the channel, because mostly I was self-conscious feeling like I wasn't a very good musician, was I kind of marketed the channel as like, this is just a musician trying to get better. So with that, you know, that's something that carries off of the stream as well, where I'm just always trying to get better and play something that's a bit more difficult, or learn something new about like jazz scale improv, or just get better at learning a different instrument. So while it is in a line, it's progressing. So I don't necessarily feel like I'm kind of stuck in it.
That's sick. You've actually been. I have exactly the same thing. So, like you, I started looping 6 months in, or 3 months. I got a tax return, and they had like a 50% off sale on loopers. And I was like, I'm buying one this time. I've tried before, and I didn't have any outlets to use it. Same with any of my keyboards. Actually, I had some keyboards before too. Just didn't use them. There was no need for it. You just got one piano and one pianist, and that's all you need, right? So the looper actually liberated or enabled me to sit there and go, I need all the things, which was probably a blessing and a curse. It's a blurst thing. And so then I also had to develop the skills to essentially do arranging, composing, and things like that in a more major way than I did previously. And so I was on that journey for a long time. I feel you've been streaming for over 5 years, and I've been here for 7.5. And I think at that point, for me now, it'll be interesting to see how you feel in another couple of years, or I don't know, maybe our journeys will continue to be very similar, or they'll diverge. I mean, we are different people, so what? Yeah, absolutely. Not every musician's the same. CBC. He's just like, but like that's why I said right now I feel like I'm not bored of what I'm doing, but I do want to also develop my skills as a streamer. If that sounds weird, I mean, I've been streaming for 7.5 years, but I kind of want to develop my skills as a streamer now as well, and see what I can do with it. But yeah, I was just interested to see what you're doing. I think the idea is that streamers are, like, people do like the idea of a journey. If you actually, CBC was on a journey himself for many years. Like, he was sitting on the same train that circumnavigated the globe about 62 times. And
That's not where it went. I mean, do you even watch the stream? Does this guy even watch the stream, chat?
I definitely watched the stream. It's just that, like,
let me drop some wisdom on you, Johnny Young. Life is a journey, okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I understand. But I understand. I
Okay.
mean, look, at least you're going faster in your journey than you were when you first started walking.
Wait, what? When?
Well, you didn't even have a train before. The train was a relatively new.
I haven't been on the train for 2 years, mate. I've been sitting.
I
in
know,
a
and
shack.
before that you were walking.
I've been
and
sitting
now
in-
you've been. Then you had the Ren Fair, and now
Yeah,
you're.
and now I stream 4 days a week, twice on those days, and so all I have time for is sitting in a shack.
Yeah, you're a squatter. Have you taken
Shush it.
steps?
Quiet. Shush. Stop saying that. Joe? Shush it. Joe, feel the dead air. Johnny Young, shut up. Wiz, say something for once.
Is there a moment on or off stream that you remember that you consider your breakthrough?
On or off stream?
I built this podcast room with my bare hands. You know Bob the Builder. You misheard the theme song. It's Scoop, Muck, and Wizzy.
Oh, is it? That's so. Yeah, that's a good question though, Wiz. Is there a moment on or off stream that you remember that you consider a breakthrough?
Yeah.
Do tell.
It was when I first started looping, and I wanted to film myself doing it to see how it was going and if the audio was working. And it was a very quiet, all vocal loop. It was very beautiful and soft. And then I thought I had pressed the pedal before another sound happened that ended up being in the loop. But it brought it to a new level, and that sound was a fart. And it's still on my computer. I will show you guys one day.
That is so funny. That's your breakthrough moment. Like where things
Definitely broke
clicked. You're like, wait, I just realized what's possible here. Whoa. Because like
I was like,
your explanation was just so like you were leading us into like, oh, this is gonna be a real like epiphany, like it's like Christmas, right? You like unwrapped something and you're like, oh, that feeling that you get, right? When you're like, oh, what is it? And then it's something you actually wanted. And I don't know, I feel like you might have found a new target audience, a new super fan in the Wiz today.
Yeah, I mean, I think it made me realize that I can loop anything, like any sound. And that really opened my eyes to a brand new world. And it's probably the best thing I've ever made.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What about you, Johnny Young?
Mine's much more boring after that. Literally,
It was just a shit.
Choo
It
choo
wasn't
farts.
something nearly as fun as a fart.
Apologies, John and Joe, for my co-host half-assing this shit. He just frankly doesn't give a shit.
Well, you give enough for both of us, Wiz. Go, Johnny Young. What is it? Sorry.
Basically, I used to work at a university in two or three schools, and then that made my five day a week like at school thing. And gradually over the years, the community support was really strong, and it let me quit those jobs. And I was at one of those schools for 4 years, and it was like the kind of school where you have to dress up in a tie and a suit, and the kids will tell you that you'll never afford a house, and they're pretty shitty. And there was this one day when I suddenly realized I didn't have to be there anymore. This wasn't a necessity for life anymore. I could actually leave. And I just said, this is my notice. I'm leaving. I'm at the end of the term. I'm going. And that was like this boulder lifted up. I was like, oh, I can leave. It's like, heck yes.
That
felt like a real moment.
Did it come with also like, was it a scary leap? Was it like, ooh, they don't have the sort of safety net of it? Streaming is very fickle.
Streaming is interesting. Like I thought that it was going to be really tumultuous, but the cycles are longer than I expected. It's 2024 has been rough. Let's be real. It's been pretty rough. But prior to now, it actually wasn't. It was really just kind of stable, and you just keep going, and you just keep trying different things, and you just keep trying to like reach out to new people and meet new people, and you just keep doing that. But the macro trends are quite longer than I expected. So 2024 is the first time I've really felt that this is actually tough now.
It has been a very strange year. I can sort of attest to that. I think this year in particular has been different to the others. I'm not quite sure why. I also think like the long form of streaming, something that I've noticed that I've stopped doing that I kind of wish I was doing more. I don't watch as many streams as I used to. I used to pop into everyone's stream and say, hey, and like, hang out. And it's, those 3 days off, it's harder and harder to find the time because I'm so busy staring at the ceiling. To like actually do the thing that Twitch is so good at, which is, make friends and, hang out and like I'm more of there's more time that goes into producing than there is that goes into consuming now. And so that feels like it's shifted, and I need to I feel like I need to correct that. I don't know how much Twitch you two consume, but
Well, my Twitch recap told me I watched 7 hours a day. At least I watched 7 hours a day last year. This year it definitely hasn't been 7 hours a day, so it'll be quite interesting to see what it says this year. It's not that I don't want to watch Twitch. It's more that I'm picking up more things in life that are taking me away from my computer, and most of the time, unless I'm streaming or working on something actively, I'm not at a computer anymore. And I don't know. I think I feel like there could also be a thing theoretically. This might just be theorizing that there's besides work from home becoming less of a thing, and besides I think there's like a collective exhaustion with the internet. There's just so much stuff going on there now so quickly all the time, and so much of it is a little bit fraught with intensity that people are now just sort of enjoying not being online a little bit. That's a theory anyway.
I inclined to agree, but I also think what's king now is short form content. It's TikTok and YouTube Shorts are, even Reels are where a lot of people spend hours, right, cycling through lots of little things, rather than spending time in a stream. And even like there's no means for exposure, especially on Twitch, outside of like short form content. And short form content has even surpassed long form YouTube content, I think. I would have to look at the actual stats, but I think that would contribute to your theory of like there's a fatigue that's happening, and I think the fatigue is probably directly related to short form being what's pushed on us and what we consume the most. I don't know. Do you agree with that, Joe? Do you have an opinion on the matter?
Yes, I actually found, John, your point to be very, very interesting. Yes, I would agree with that. Admittedly, for myself, with like certain apps, I just don't open as much. Like, I mean, especially like, things like Twitter. I feel like I never open that anymore, especially as of late.
Oh yeah, Twitter's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so bad.
But I mean, as for myself, since a lot of my work does involve being in this room and the computer, I feel like I almost always have a Twitch stream on or something like that. I prefer long form content. I obviously see that there is much more of a desire, it seems, for short form content, and that does seem to be king. But I just, for whatever reason, never really got into it. I think it makes my anxiety go up a bit. I don't know why. It's almost
nice
like
that you can clock that though. That like you can. I think a lot of people consume short form content but don't link their anxiety to it, or even notice that anxiety is involved in that. I think that's true though. I think it's.
Yeah, it's moving so fast, and especially when I'm watching it, I'm not doing anything. So the quicker it goes, the more I'm aware I'm just sitting there, and it makes me very anxious. So I feel like I never really got into TikTok, even though I know I should for, what we do and everything.
I
But
can only really use TikTok while half drunk.
What happens if you're full drunk?
Then it
is this
probably
like
make it better.
a
I'm not quite
Gremlins?
sure.
It's like a Gremlins thing. Like don't let him use TikTok if he's fully drunk.
I might be better. I had a really good time the other day when I was basically smashed, and then people were just yelling songs at me. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like fun. And that is
Oh, you
basically
mean
it. For, like,
streaming on
wow.
it? You mean actually being on it?
Yeah.
Right,
But like
right.
watching, there's no like one of the things that I really like about Twitch and long form. In fact, Twitch like sort of superseded YouTube for me as well. Like long form gives you a better chance to actually marinate in a topic, to actually sort of like get to know people. Like I sit here and I'm talking to you. I've known you for 6 years. I've known at least of Joe for all the 5 years. Although now we're going to finally get to talk now, which is great. And then
we're friends
a
on
bunch of the
Discord
people.
now.
Yeah, exactly. It's official. And then all
and
the
the
people.
whiz, I suppose, and the whiz interrupting.
Yeah,
Tommy.
and the people in your chat are actually like, there's a
The
lot of
tingo
names that some
scraw,
people
pap,
who are
pap,
king.
ka ka ka, skibbiki pap pap, and a poo poo pudger boom skya, do do cuckoo dun dun boom, whom you done know.
Amazing, whiz. Now shut up. What were you saying, John?
Oh, I was just saying that things like Twitch are literally for having connections with other human beings, and things like short form is essentially like a Gacha game where you just flip and you go, oh, that's amusing. Oh, that's amusing. Oh,
Yeah.
that's amusing.
I find with viewing TikTok or YouTube Shorts, I will sit there and I'll scroll for a while, and then when I do like finally snap out of it, it's like I've woken up from a dream. Like it's like I don't know what just happened. Like I feel often like dumbfounded or something. I feel like that I don't know where the time went. I don't have a concept of how long I was doing it for. Like, and so it's disorienting for me.
Do you find that you follow many people from short form content?
No, I don't. But there's so I don't even log into TikTok. I just have it, right? I'm not logged in. So my like algorithm, so to speak, just resets every time. I don't have one. I set it every time I start scrolling. my YouTube algorithm is just all Thor. That's all it is. I don't know if there's anyone else making YouTube short form content, but it's all Thor. Oh, and that one guy who does his like whole thing is like teaching kids to skateboard. That dude's awesome. Whoever he is, I forget his name. But yeah, I don't like subscribe. Yeah, not really at all. So I wouldn't say I like follow people. But yeah, I feel like it sucks.
But this is
my
the struggle.
time away.
That's the struggle for me with short form content and why I don't consume it, because I'm not connecting with anybody. I'm just mindlessly occupying my brain for no reason. And I got plenty of things I should be doing or could be doing. But more to the point, also as a content creator, I don't feel the urge to create short form content because I don't think anyone actually truly gives a shit. I will make a thing and it may take me 8 hours and people will listen to it for maybe 1 second, according to my TikTok page, or up to like 30 seconds or something like that. And then they're gone and they didn't follow you. They didn't interact with it. They didn't actually care. You just basically filled up 30 seconds. And then they just
I think it really depends on the nature of the content. I think it's I think you're right. I think there's more noise than there is stuff of value. But if you look at something like Thor's shorts, they're more often than not quite inspirational. Like they're full of positivity. Like I think they value add to society. Whereas I think the majority of stuff is actually just trash that's designed. It's what's it called? Rage bait. Like it's designed to make you like angry. Like there's stuff where they just do stuff wrong and that's the hook. That's the thing that makes you want to engage with it because you're like, you got it wrong. You said it wrong, right?
The tried and tested method, really.
And that kind of content I think is really a waste. Like I don't think that adds anything or gives us anything or changes the way we think. But like all media, like any media, like a movie, a good movie, or even a good piece of music, right? What it will do is enrich your existence. And I think short form content has the ability to do that. It's just hard to do. And
well, it's hard to get enough engagement with it technically. Like people like Thor obviously have broken through in a particular way.
There is a format you kind of have to adhere to, I think.
I wouldn't know anything about that. I don't know how to make anything good on TikTok, but literally just the idea that it's actually easier to create rage bait than it is to do something that benefits society. But also beneficial stuff for society requires people who are willing to engage with it maybe more intellectually or more deeply or for longer. It's very, very accessible to rage at something. It's, very easy to get swept along with it. And then you felt something, and then the algorithm assumes that you want to feel more things like that.
What about you, Joe? Do you make any short form content?
Speaking of creating long form content, CBC, where's the crapper?
You're not going to need to use it, Wiz. And what? I'm so sorry about him, Joe. Go ahead.
You're fine. I mean, I was just kind of thinking through the past couple minutes how what I should really do is take that video of the fart loop and put that on TikTok, and then I think I'm just set.
You're
I
done.
don't have to stream. Yeah,
Ever
I think
again.
just
That's not how that works, though, right? Because what you're going to do, Joe, is then there'll be more farts appearing in every single loop until eventually it's just an entire auto-tuned chorus of farts.
It's awesome.
Well, let's look. What we say before, Johnny Ong. It's not. You just got to put it out there. Don't try and perfect it first. Don't try and metagame it and predict where it might go. You just do it. Put it up. You see how it goes and adapt appropriately. If you have to make a choir of farts, so be it. Wiz will join you. Wiz will join you for sure.
He's invited.
God.
Why though? Joe? What the hell?
I like him.
You
He's
like
fun.
him?
You never know what's gonna happen. He's just like, oh, here's
Joe
the
Fart about to
crapper
become the
comment.
Gangnam Style of the YouTube Shorts world.
Whoop.
Okay.
Whoop. Amazing. Well, we might call it
thank
there,
you, dear.
friendos. Unless, do you have anything else you wanted to ask or answer, or how we feeling? I feel like it was a pretty good pod.
So we podded.
Uh,
This is a pod.
Will it pod? Yes, it will. Correct.
That was so quick. I was trying to rub my nose.
That was 2 hours and it flew by.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks for putting up with the Wiz. Thanks for putting up with me, I guess.
Where am I? Who are you? And what am I doing here?
Don't worry, Wiz. We'll get you off to the toilet soon. Chat, thank you for being here. And thanks to, hey, Christy Cates, I see you there. And thanks to Lara for swinging by. Lovely to see some other musical streamers in the chat.
This was a genuine delight. Joe and John, thank you for sharing both your time and insight with us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, that's so well said.
Oh my god, that was really nice.
Yeah, no, but really, I would like to echo that sentiment. Thanks for being here and sharing your journeys with us and sharing your knowledge. And it was really nice to hear you guys chat to each other. It was a good time. It was a real good time.
No, really. Who are you? Where can we find you when you aren't here? Thank you, everyone, for watch my show.
Oh my god, get
this
over yourself,
podcast was
Wiz.
as amazing as my guests, and it was so nice to have a podcast with 3 genuine musicians and a guy who steals decorations from cattle.
Can you believe Wiz steals decorations from cattle? Crazy.
Everyone needs a hobby.
Everyone does need a hobby. If you don't have a hobby, get yourself a hobby. And in lieu of that, maybe your new hobby could be watching Joe and John on Twitch. Their links are in chat. Get on them. Click it, and then go subscribe, and then give them $20. Give them $20. Anything else? I think we're good. I think yeah. Thanks again. It was a really good
Johnny,
time.
are you as hopeful as I
Yeah,
am
thank
for
you,
a
guys.
Johnny Young Will Shan collaboration one day?
Oh, what about that, Johnny?
Oh, I'd love to do that.
All right.
You should have Will Shan on your podcast.
Yeah, I
CBC.
should. I've got a list. I've got a list of people, and Shan is definitely on there.
He would be a trippy. I want to see that one.
Yeah, I mean, so delightful having you both, though. Thanks for agreeing to this, and thanks for putting up with my attempts at scheduling. So
No, it was easy.
It was easy, yeah.
easy for
Yeah,
you
thanks
two.
for all your work.
Easy for you two.
I'm just saying you're a good host.
Oh, thank you.
Very good host.
Yes, Wiz, you're a very good host. Chat, thanks for being here. Do go and follow these two up. They're both incredible. Joe's leaving. Bye, Joe. Just walking off into the void.
I'd ask for $20, but if you can believe it, our listeners keep giving me lots of dollars already.
Oh, do they? That's good. I will be back later, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'll just sleep tonight. Who knows?
You guys spend a lot of time staring at the ceiling, remember?
Yeah, I do got to get on top of that. You know, I'm falling behind.
Staring at the ceiling won't stare at itself, you know.
I've been trying to figure out a way in which I can make it do that, but it's not working.
Just put mirrors next to your computer screen, and then when you're looking at the computer screen from your peripheral vision, you're actually also staring at the ceiling.
Don't backseat my ceiling staring at ceiling techniques, please.
I thought we were sharing.
Yeah, you're trying to help, but you're not helping, okay? I'm stubborn and annoying.
So are we all. So are we all.
Okay. Well, this has been Joe Plays Violin, Johnny Young, the wizard who's girt by shit, and me, Cowboy, signing off. Oh, what the heck? Where'd you pull that from?
It's kimchi.
Hey, Kimchi. Looking
He's been
awfully
screaming.
fermented.
Fermented?
Yeah.
Oh, one more thing, John. Great choice of colors today. Christmas
thank
is
you.
coming, CBC. Christmas is coming.
Okay.
TikTok. Oh my god, kimchi is so cute. And in case I
Okay.
don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
And we'll call it there. Thanks for being here, chat. I'll see you. I'll see you later. What are you saying, Johnny Young? You want to do something?
I just wanted to pull you up on one thing. You said the wizard was girt by shit, except you and I are girting the wizard.
No. It's much more. We're not. We are side by. We are flanking the wizard. The wizard. We're on the flanks of the girting shit. Okay, so look.
That's just
a little bit.
The podcast is over. All right, the podcast is over. I'll see you all either later today or tomorrow. Thanks for being here, chat. Thanks for being here, my guests. This is the third time I've done the outro. Bye, bye, you little cuties. I'm just gonna raid the lo-fi. Quick, raid. Okay, bye, chat. I'll see you next time. I mean, woo! Please leave a tab open.